Hi everyone, I want to talk about hyperkalemia. Hyperkalemia simply means there's high level of potassium. Okay, some will say, and so what? Well, let's go and find out. Okay, first thing is evaluation because the treatment of hyperkalemia depends on one, the value of potassium. It's not everybody that you start running about because they have high level of potassium. It depends on how high the potassium level is. The normal value is between 3.5 and 5.5 millimoles per liter. So if it is 5.6 or 5.7, I'm not going to run. Okay. Then EKG results, you will see the strips, and we'll talk about what you should find later on. And of course, the patient's clinical status. You are not going to treat the paper documents or any other thing. You are going to treat the human being. Even if the EKG is giving you something, because the report on EKG is not determinant of what you should do. It's just going to give you the sign, it's going to give you a clue to what's going on. So the patient is here, is dying before you, and say, oh, no, what EKG is saying, what the value is saying from the lab is not. No, you just have to act now. So the clinical status of the patient is very vital to your decision. Treatment will also depend on electrolyte like sodium, magnesium, calcium, and the rest. You might have to treat them concomitantly because hyponatremia is a serious issue, and hypercalcemia is another headache. Hypomagnesemia could even lead to torsade point from long QT syndrome, torsade point, ventricular tachycardia, ventricular fibrillation, and asystole, and the patient is dead because of low level of magnesium. So you do a physical examination as well, carry out the renal function test to know whether we're in trouble with the kidney, because that will affect the value of potassium as well. Put on the cardiac monitors with pulse oximetry. We want to know exactly how this patient is doing, arterial blood gases, and the history of medication and diet in this person. We will soon know why medication like ACE inhibitors, potassium sparing like spironolactone, amiloride, triamcinolone are so important. And of course, the diet with banana, broccoli, and the lines will play a role in evaluating the patient with hyperkalemia. What are the clinical features here? You have to ask about muscle weakness, and the muscle weakness will start from the legs and ascending up. There's possibility of paralysis, in which case it's going to be flaccid paralysis, like could be found in Guillain-Barré syndrome. As a matter of fact, many people are wrongly diagnosed to have Guillain-Barré syndrome when the issue is potassium. Like I mentioned the other time, that it is not the final say as per the diagnosis of hyperkalemia, but your EKG is very important. And what are you going to pick on the EKG? There's possibility of tall, big T wave, short QT, prolonged PR, and prolonged QRS, vanished P wave, QRS widens, and asystole later on. There's possibility of right bundle branch block and left bundle branch block. The bradycardia here will be sinus in origin. There's possibility of ventricular tachycardia and ventricular fibrillation. Metabolic acidosis because there's increased potassium that will impair ammonium excretion. leading to that. Okay, the life-threatening situation will set in when we have potassium at the level of 7.0 milliequivalent per liter or greater. And your EKG will reveal ST segment depression at that time, peak T waves, and very short QT. What are the possible causes of hyperkalemia? Metabolic acidosis, diabetic ketoacidosis, when there is insulin deficiency, and of course we all know what that will lead to, and that is hyperglycemia. If there's rigorous exertion or you have blood transfusion, you can have high level of potassium. There's possibility of high level of potassium in renal failure, and medications like ACE inhibitor, succinylcholine in anesthesia, digoxin toxicity, potassium sparings, like spironolactone, triamterene, amiloride, and the rest could all shoot the level of potassium up. So we need to find out. And of course, your diet could add to that. What are the treatments here? The first scenario is when potassium is greater than 6.5 milliequivalent per liter, and it may be 7.0 or greater, that will be life-threatening. So what do? We act fast. We put up the IV fluids and give lases, give calcium gluconate intravenously to save the heart. The calcium gluconate is not going to reduce the level of the potassium, but it's going to save the heart. The insulin will do, and the laces will do. But when you give your insulin, remember that you are shutting down the glucose. The patient may die from hypoglycemia. So to prevent that, you put up your glucose, 5% dextrose water. Salbutamol will drive potassium into the cells, and you can do hemodialysis. If the patient is conscious, give Coagulate. Repeat electrolyte assay to know whether you are winning. Do your EKG again and see the tracing. And of course, the status of the patient will determine what you do and how you go about it. So take your history again, talk to the patient, do your physical examination again. The second scenario is potassium is less than 6.5 but greater than 5.5 milliequivalent per liter. Well, whether you run or not depends on if there is associated renal failure. Then, within 12 hours, you can give either calcium gluconate, insulin, salbutamol, Coagulate if the patient is conscious. Whether you're going to do hemodialysis, diuretics with IV fluid will be determined based on the status of the patient, particularly if the patient is having associated renal failure or is planning to go for surgery. So you need to handle that quickly, and you stop some medications like potassium sparing diuretics, like ACE inhibitors, and so on and so forth. You check your arterial blood gases, and if the pH is 7.1 or less, you are free to give your bicarbonate here. The third scenario is if the value is between 5.5 and 6.5 without end-stage renal disease and not preparing for surgery, and this patient is otherwise stable, then you don't need to run. You start by adjusting the diet, by stopping ingestion of banana, avocado, spinach, grapefruit, broccoli, and every food items that could give rise to potassium level. Advise the patient against them. You can give your lysis per hour. Remember I said this patient is stable, not preparing for surgery, the kidney is fine. So there's no need to run. It's just between 5.5 and 6.5. Okay? Give your lysis per hour and encourage to hydrate very well, to drink fluid. Give your care isolate. Stop offending medications, because if you don't do that, you might be at a good point right now, and then it could be worse when the source of the potassium is still there, sending it. Like ACE inhibitor, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and potassium sparing diuretics. So stop all those medications. In conclusion for now, the most important thing here is accurate diagnosis with immediate treatment. I'll publish the presentation on hypokalemia very soon, because it's not going to be one-sided. It could be hyperkalemia and it could be hypokalemia. We don't need either. What we need is the normal range between 3.5 and 5.5. So watch out for my presentation on hypokalemia very soon. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Kindly subscribe to my channel, and I promise you'll be getting the publications immediately they're published. Thank you.